Thanks a lot for staying with us. You're still watching Politics Tonight, digging beyond the headlines. And now to our interview with the second guest of the day. I'm joined by the Commissioner for Budget and Economic Planning in Zamfara State, Abdulmalik Abubakar Gajam, for discussion on the first 100 days in the office of Governor Dauda Lawal. Thank you so much for joining us, Mr. Gajam.
Thank you.
Now, you're said to be the youngest commissioner in Zamfara State. How are you coping with politics and governance?
Well, let me first of all thank Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala for giving me the opportunity to be here, and also to thank you for having me. Well, politics and governance, especially in Zamfara State, I think are two different things, because the political game in Nigeria, especially in states like Zamfara, is completely different. It is chaotic, and then lack of actual civilized processes followed. But in governance in Zamfara State, I think this is the first time as a young person I am proud of my state. A state that generally is known in the indices of poor people, the challenges of insecurity, the display of ignorance by leadership in the past, but people voiced out their anger and they changed. They changed for good. So governance, I believe we are starting to see the light out of the tunnel in Zamfara State, because when we talk about governance, we are talking about following the due process. When we talk about governance, we talk about obeying law and order. When we talk about governance, we talk about leadership that understands the needs of its people and the cries out of its people, and a government that creates an enabling environment for everyone to thrive and then reduce equality between the poor people and the rich people, and a government that understands it is important to empower the younger generation with education, a government that understands enhancing the healthcare delivery system, a government that understands there is no society without security. So politics is behind us. The people of Zamfara State have asked for change, and they put their hands and casted for change. And then change has come to Zamfara State.
So talk to us about the first 100 days in office of Governor Dauda Lawal as the 5th democratically elected governor of Zamfara State.
So as we all know, people from Zamfara State and Nigeria at large, the leadership in Zamfara State in the past was driven or centric on religious bigotry and a willful display of ignorance and lack of processes. But now, Dr. Dauda Lawal, as the governor, in his first 100 days, he triggered a strategic, robust recovery plan. What do I mean by that? Well, a plan that makes sure the healthcare system is enhanced, the education system is enhanced, the infrastructural development is enhanced of the state, and the security of the state. So when we talk about the social programs, which include the education sector and then the healthcare sector, on education, before Dr. Dauda Lawal, for three years, the past administration did not pay for WAEC tuition for our younger people from the secondary school to write their WAEC exams and go to the university for 3 years. That means 70,000 young people in Zamfara State have been left behind for 3 years without enrollment. Every single person that attended public school and finished his SS3 to go to university has been there for 3 years. When he came in, he understood the importance of education, and there is no society that can stand on its toes without educating its younger generation. So he paid that debt of over billions of naira. That is on education. And then secondly, he moved on to infrastructural development in the educational sector. He made sure he bring the partners and then the development funds at UBEC and TETFON and elsewhere to bring them to enhance the serenity and the environment of our schools, to build up primary schools. And that program is ongoing now. And when we talk about healthcare, this is something that he takes very seriously. We have started engaging the development partners in building and rehabilitating our primary healthcare delivery systems. And we have started bringing professionals to train our younger people that finishes their health technology. We have a health technology school and school of nursing in Zamfara State. So he has started energizing and putting in effort to making sure those younger people are enrolled. And as we speak now, the last executive council meeting we had, he made sure, he asked us, Ministry of Health, Ministry of Education, and then Ministry of Budget and Planning, to design a system on how to analyze and process the system to look at the feasibility of more employment in the sector, and then the places where we need to enroll more people. And then when we talk about education, we talk about healthcare. That is a social program. And then the social program of palliative that the federal government is bringing now, before the federal government decided to give palliatives.
Let's take these issues one after the other. Let's start with security, which is probably the biggest challenge facing the state. What is the situation now compared to when Governor Lawal assumed office on May 29?
All right. Dr. Dauda Lawal, when he came, all the security agencies, the military, the police were complaining about the incentives their people get. Even the maintenance of their vehicles have been ignored by the state government. So he gave them all that. He made sure they have gotten all that they need in order to go and mobilize their people and make sure they fish out these criminals that are in our rural villages. And then the vulnerability of the road from Funtua to Zamfara State to Rusape, there is always kidnapping taking place. But he made sure he mobilized, this past week, he mobilized the military, he mobilized the police with vehicles, bulletproof vehicles, to go and supervise those roads in order to protect the lives and properties of the people. And then secondly, he signed a bill, trust fund bill, police trust fund bill, in order to make sure all the equipment needed by the police or any paramilitary to pursue the agenda of securing Zamfara State is met. That is the second thing in this 100 days that he has done. And thirdly, he had engaged all the stakeholders and then asked them to recruit 300 youth, JTF, Zamfara State JTF, from across each local government, 300 youths, in order to fight these bandits, in order to have the number of manpower to fight this banditry that is going in Zamfara State.
So if you say that's the situation, why do you think major stakeholders in that state are asking the government declares a state of emergency in the state because of what they perceive as paralyzing vacuum of the highest level of leadership in that state?
Well, first of all, before asking of any person asking the government to declare a state of emergency for Zamfara State, we have to understand. Well, insecurity crisis is everywhere in the world, and it keeps on happening. Why does it happen in Zamfara State? That is what we have campaigned for, because of the ignorance of the government to empower the youth, to make sure people have better orientation through the education system, to cater for people, to fight for corruption, and to make sure there is productivity, especially in the agricultural sector. We have to make sure our people can go to farmland and produce. And that is the strategy that we are putting in place in order to fight this banditry that is happening. And when you look at it, we have been having success stories within the past 2 months of this new administration of Dr. Dauda Lawal. There have been killings of bandits in Bukuyum local government. There have been dismantling of their camps and their machineries in Shinkafi local government. A lot of people are giving credit to this administration. The main problem we are having is the problem of kidnapping through the Funtua to Zafa Road. And then His Excellency Dr. Dauda Lawal mobilized the security forces to patrol in order to secure that route and then protect our people from kidnapping. When we look at the past administration, it used to be a government in Zamfara State that takes advantage of this insecurity to extort and misappropriate funds, when we have leadership that communicates with these bandits on a daily basis, when we have leadership that gives asylum, a place to hide bandits in the name of having a truce with the bandits, that is something that we are not agreeing with as in this new administration, and that is something that we are even investigating, because we realize these bandits, they can be dismantled because it is man-made. These people live in the rural areas and then try to attack people that are powerless without weapons. Instead of the government, the past government, to fight them back, they brought them in order to get resources through the processes. We do not understand that, but it's 100 days and we are working towards making Zamfara State a better place. When you ask people around Zamfara State, I guarantee you and I believe they have seen the change through the stoppage of kidnapping in these roads, through the signing of the police trust fund bill, through recruitment of youth to be trained by the military and the DSS in order to go and fight this banditry. So there is no reason to think that we are not on top of the matter. We are on top of the issue, and the governor said to the people of Nigeria that we are not going to negotiate with bandits. That is something we are not here to do.
Contradictory reports, I must say, because while you talk about improvement, others are saying it's getting worse, especially in areas like Bungudu local government, where bandits attacked a divisional police station, killed a policeman. Bandits also attacked Kwatakashi local government, or rather village, killing scores of people. And earlier, some other citizens were talking about killings in Boko village in Zumi local government area, several other attacks in Mada, Wonako in Guzo local governments, and daily attacks in Bukuyum and Anka local governments. But how is the administration striving to secure highways and villages, especially highways, bedeviled by banditry and kidnapping?
I'm glad you made mention of this local government in Bungudu local government, and Mada is a ward in Gusau local government. Due to the pursuit of this administration in killing of these bandits from their camps, all this local government you have mentioned, they are the access road and the routes of those bandits, because they do not have a stable place now in Zamfara State. So they keep on running and coming back. In Mada and Gusau and this Afe road that we are talking of, it's a passage road for them. So they would go and do their territory and then go back to their places. So the victims of there are getting that because this banditry has been there for over 10 years. We are here on 100 days. In Bukuyum local government, we have done the due diligence. We have killed almost 100 bandits from that, and we have dismantled their camps. When you talk about Shinkafi local government, these are places where nobody could enter those places. These are places where they had huge camps and huge machineries in fighting of military and kidnapping people and taking goods and services there. So now we have dismantled that. We are in the process, because now a criminal without a home is a criminal running about the street. So we are getting there. We are getting there through this process of recruitment of these young people to fight the banditry, through mobilizing the military and the police by giving them the necessary equipment and incentives and support by the state government. We are getting there. It's just 100 days. It's just 100 days. So we are getting there. We have managed to dismantle some of their camps, and we are still fighting them, and we are not negotiating with them. This is something that everyone in Zamfara State agrees with, everyone in Zamfara State understands, because for over 10 years, they have been having truce and having an agreement with these bandits. But all that has done to Zamfara State is empower these bandits to acquire more weapons, to acquire more territories. But now we have a government that says, no, we do not negotiate with terrorists. We are solemnly behind the good people of Zamfara State, and we are determined to finish all of this. So in this, our 100 days, these are the 3 major steps that we have taken. And I guarantee you, next time I come back here, you will hear more success story, not even from me, but from the people of Zamfara State and from the people of Nigeria at large. And moving on to the 100 days, we have talked about security, we have talked about education, we have talked about healthcare. Now let's talk about restructuring. The reason why people of Zamfara State voted Dr. Dauda Lawal as their governor is because they were tired of the madness called leadership in Zamfara State. When he came in, he restructured the MDEs. Why? Because we had an over-bloated MDEs from 28 ministries to now 16 ministries. That shows you Dr. Dauda Lawal is ready to deliver service to the people. He does not care about the politics of it. All he cares about is to help his people. And from 48 permanent secretaries to 23. And from 35 directorates,
like I said earlier,
to one directorate.
One after the other. I would like us to take these issues one after the other. And let's get back to education. You said you're talking about education. We're not talking about education. Let's get back to education. Zamfara is also one of the educationally disadvantaged states in Nigeria. And report has it that Governor Dauda Lawal was said to have solicited the help of TED Fund to reposition the education sector. What stage is that proposal, and how does this help in reducing the over 850,000 children out of school?
Well, so this is all, it takes us back to restructuring. Without proper restructuring, any serious government that comes into place, there is need for feasibility. All these statistics are out there. Now, what this government is doing, apart from coming to you back and sourcing for funding to build more classes that would accommodate these 100,000 plus younger people, boys and girls that are out of schools, to accommodate them in those schools, he has also showed the enthusiasm and the determination that this government is going to focus on education. We cannot allow our younger generation to be left behind in Nigeria, not even just in Nigeria. We want in the future our younger people to compete in the world on mathematics, on English. It starts with school infrastructure. That is the infrastructure he is focusing on. And then the feasibility on the manpower that is needed in order to enhance those studies. And then the curriculum to teach our students. So these are the things we are focusing on. We have paid for the WAEC. This administration paid for a WAEC debt of over $1 billion, a NECO debt of over $1 billion. When last 2-3 weeks, when our young people went to school to write their NECO exams, it was like Christmas. It was like Eid, because for 3-4 years, they have not experienced that. All their brothers and sisters for 3 years have been at home without having the opportunity to write those exams. So when you build classes, when you enhance the delivery system of curriculum, when you enhance the libraries, when you enhance the laboratories, and then when you enhance the transportation and the feeding of these young people in a very comprehensive and coordinated manner, then you would have an education system that functions in the state.
Sadly, we're out of time, but in 30 seconds, 100 days and beyond for the administration, what should people of the state be expecting from the administration? In 30 seconds.
Like the Uber renewal. Okay, the Uber renewal that is taking place in Zamfara State, the capital of Zamfara State, Gusau, for the past 20 years, it has been dealt with like some mere local government. It is now, in this 100 days, there is 3.5 kilometer township road, restructuring of all the roundabouts in the state capital, and then roads that passes through the hospitals, through the Emir's Palace, through the Tankin-Rua Road. This is ongoing. And in 20 days that they have started their work, if you have seen the improvement, even 2 days ago, His Excellency was going around the state capital to check those Uber renewal projects that are ongoing. The people of the state were so excited and happy because it's like a new era. As young people, we have been hearing about there would be a light at the end of the tunnel. I think we are witnessing that in this 100 days. So on urban renewal, on infrastructure, he has touched that. On education, he has made improvement. On healthcare, he has made improvement. And on the restructuring, because without a formidable force and determined governance structure, there is little a government can achieve. So he is bringing sanity with the bills that he has signed, executive order of anti-corruption tribunal. You will look at those things and you would see an improvement coming to Zamfara State within this 100 days.
Sadly, we're out of time. Thank you so much. I've been speaking with the Commissioner for Budget and Economic Planning in Zamfara State, Abdul Malik Abubakar Gajam. Thank you for bringing us up to speed with Governor Dauda Lawal's 100 days in office. And we look forward to more success story. Thank you so much.